that was like. They would just laugh and mock me. And at that moment, I will be praying. I will be asking God, Father, let me vanish. Just let the ground open so I can vanish. That's how severe it was. That's how severe. And I remember even in my college years, I think my first year in college, in my studio apartment, I was walking down to my apartment and I said to God, I spoke in my heart, and it was very intense. I said, Father, nobody loves me. My dad doesn't love me. His wife doesn't love me. I mean, they don't care about me. People don't love me. I don't know why I exist. I said, Lord, if I die, I die.
Living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job, then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
DHW 1642 Concord Plain Table Intercooler and every minute me call US according come on mami outro ne mami ba ko outro no screen so according come. And before I say no, tap send more Europe, Canada, UK, any US mun download tap send. Tap send app here the any agina so the money sika be fie. Oba so money ebusuafo sika e wo Ghana for Play Store and App Store na download tap send. Simple kwa obo show tap send eba. O download bi ya na chese baby say we do ni ade. O do baby say promo code share so na type SVTV and one no. O send is scanner na beto mobile money wallet ni Ghana say skolom na dim alert. It is download tap send or Play Store and App Store. So Ejumapa On Demand. Ejumapa On Demand ye den mo akwantu mo Ghana mo hia obi obesi udan ma o. O akwantu wa send this one mani sika sa etwa we di sa busuafo ne nnamfo ne ade. Ni nyina story format article. Ejumapa say uhia obi obesi udan ma o, painter, carpenter, tiler, steel bender, auto mechanic, cleaners ni ade. Omo services ndoso. Wo expert abi o Ghana bia project wo bia no na che say wo call Play Store and App Store download dia ba Ejumapa eno an so benya uchusu ya benya expert bi wa hwehwe Ejumama so so betimi akọ mo website www.ejumapa.com unti bibia say mo numbers the good screen so betimi afrom Ejumapa yan ko straight yan ko din ko mo Madam Maryam me mo akọ aba SBTV Africa so boko there.
Thank you. Yes.
Nice one. I just saying
Yeah.
Anyway, Udini again.
Maryam Jawandi Abila.
Maryam then.
Jawandi. Like Jawandi Abila.
Abila. Wow.
Yeah.
Who for you, Ghana?
Well, I know I was born in Accra, Ghana. Yes. And I left the country when I was very young, and I was relocated to Canada, Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, okay. Into Canada now or now in US?
No, I'm in the US by married. I married and met my husband, and we got married, and he lives in the US, so I relocated to the US.
Oh, okay. I see. Now, can you
my dad is from Accra, and my mom is, I believe she's also from Accra. She is the mixed part of.
Okay, so that means we are Ghana.
I believe yes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So my mom is mixed, and my dad is Ghana. Yes.
Oh, okay. What
Hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Come on, Anyway, so I mean, let's get to know you. I mean, back in Ghana, you said you left Ghana when you were young. I mean, so your siblings, tell us more about you. I mean, let's get to know your family and all that.
Oh, well, basically, I recently visited. I had a couple of things I needed to do there for the first time in about
Hmm.
30 something years now. I mean, my brother and I have an older brother. We both relocated to Canada to
Hmm.
join my father over there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I mean, it was my journey growing up in Montreal, Canada was a
Hmm.
very critical one for me as
Hmm. Hmm.
a young girl growing up. I went through so much over there.
Hmm. Hmm.
My story really can relate to a lot of people, a lot of
Hmm.
young people that
Hmm.
have gone through like trauma, I'll call it,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Let's hear it.
well, when we got there, my dad uh made us came there with a woman and later married her, and stepmother relationship with other kids that are
Hmm.
not their own is
Hmm.
very difficult.
Hmm.
We never, because I was still young, so we never really had the thought of she's a different person or we would not respect or so. But I
Hmm.
guess she have her own idea, and she have her
Hmm.
own mentality and motives of what she planned to do. I went through a lot of abuse. When I say abuse, I went through physical abuse. I went through psychological abuse. I went
Hmm.
through uh, um, emotional abuse.
Hmm.
I mean, it got to a point that she would literally put me in front of a mirror and she would describe me, how ugly you are, look at you, like. And I was very young, preteen to teenager at the time when all these things started.
Hmm.
And I never really because growing up at school, I love school, I love to do all kinds of sports. So I never really, I'm not the type of girl at the time to really sit down and dress and put on makeups and like any other. I'm very different. I was different.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
then what she did really um change, I guess it changed the atmosphere around me, and it got me to really start focusing on myself.
Hmm.
The insults, the abuse, and I was at the point, she even would not allow me to touch food in the house. For
Hmm.
example, I would even come home from school. I really eat very small. My portion was like really, really small. And I'll come home hungry, and I'll just take a small portion from the fridge, something from the fridge
Hmm.
to eat. Soon as
Hmm.
she gets home in the evening, that'll be the first thing she'll go and check, and she will ask who touched the food, and I will respond, I touched it, I took a little bit. And then the beatings, the insults, and what didn't even help at all was when my dad gets home, and I will tell him, and he also agrees with him, because he will tell me, well, she is the one that cooks the food, she is the
Hmm.
one, even though she
Hmm.
don't provide any, she's the one that cooks the food, so she have every
Hmm.
right to tell me
Hmm.
what to touch and what not to.
Hmm.
And if she said don't touch any food, you have to listen and you don't touch nothing. So it taught me tolerance. It taught me how to, I mean, food became my enemy. Growing up in Quebec, Canada, food became my enemy. Um, I just began to isolate myself because it's like the talks and the abuse and everything. It's like, you're sitting somewhere very quietly, and the pictures, and you begin to hear the voices, meaning
Hmm.
that her voice, you begin to hear them, and it's like the enemy took it and uses it as a weapon against me.
Hmm.
And at some point, I remember the abuse got so severe, and God really used a couple of people to rescue me from the house. There was a white family. I will always be grateful and thankful to them, Fadila and her husband, and they French Canadians. So they came forward. They asked my dad to bring me to them. And I think it was about an hour and a half drive, or an hour and 45 minutes from where they live. And that's where I stayed for a couple of times. I stayed there until, and she really taught me womanhood. She, I remember she was taking some courses at the university, and I think she was doing either her master's or PhD. So she noticed that there's a big gap and a big difference in terms of like my age and how timid and isolated I've become. So she tried to build me up little by little. She tried to change my aspect of how I looked at myself and how I regard myself. She would speak a lot of encouraging words to me and positive words. You're beautiful. You're this. You can be anything you ever dream of being. God is your help. God, created you in his image and likeness. I mean, she would take me to classes, to lectures. And at the time, I didn't understand what she was doing until later in the years, after I got married and started having my own kids. I was sitting down and all the thoughts were coming back to me. And then I start understanding what she did for me, what God used her to do for me. Because if she had not come in the picture, I would probably be dead, because the things that I went through, maybe I would have killed myself, And from there, in high school, God used a teacher. She is a Greek Canadian, and she was my English teacher. Oh my Lord, she bought me books, things that my dad is supposed to do or was supposed to do. He didn't do it. He didn't even it's like I didn't even exist anymore to him. And this teacher will buy me books, will encourage me. I remember my first ever book she ever bought me, and as she counseled me, she encouraged me, she lifted up my spirit, was Ben Carson. It says Think Big. That book changed my aspect and my life. And I did a lot of sports. I played soccer. I played I did track and field. I played badminton. I table tennis. I did a whole lot. So she used to attend my sports games just to cheer me up, and it was one of the greatest moments in my life. Like, I'm telling you, she didn't have to, but she went to that extent as if she was my parent. So through that, I was able to, I graduated from high school, and I got a scholarship. I mean, even though my scholarship was not like enough, it was still able to kind of help me out. I worked. I have my own apartment, and I would just focus on my life. I just wanted to do something for myself, something better for myself. And then through that, I met my husband through a mutual friend. And at the time, I wasn't even focusing on a guy or marriage or anything like that. And I was very afraid, as a matter of fact, because of the trauma I went through growing up. Because just to elaborate on something quick, it got to a point, my stepmother, I don't even like to say stepmother, because mothers are supposed to be nurturing, but it's quite different with her. Her friends, they will see me out there and they will mock me. DJ Nyami, I'm telling you, sometimes I could still, as I'm sitting here, I can still remember, I can see the image of what that was like. They would just laugh and mock me. And at that moment, I will be praying. I will be asking God, Father, let me vanish. Just let the ground open so I can vanish. That's how severe it was. That's how severe. And I remember even in my college years, I think my first year in college, in my studio apartment, I was walking down to my apartment and I said to God, I spoke in my heart, and it was very intense. I said, Father, nobody loves me. My dad doesn't love me. His wife doesn't love me. I mean, they don't care about me. People don't love me. I don't know why I exist. I said, Lord, if I die, I die. And I remember, I don't want to cry. Whew.
Don't cry. Let's go.
I walked down to my apartment and I went in there and just lie down and just, another day came. But then sometime along the line, I got to understand that God was holding me all along, and all the people he brought into my life to really help me. It's like he did those things at seasons and stages that he knows that I need this person and I need to know about certain things, and just to raise me and nurture me in love. I was really loved by those people, and I'm always grateful that, something like this happened, because I know that I would have taken my life, because when you're growing up and you're going through abuses, and, it's not as if I could not tell the law enforcement or the police what was happening. But the thing is, even though I was a child, I was still thinking about them. I remember the police once came to the house because I run. The beatings were so much, and I run upstairs. That was in my dad's apartment. I run upstairs, and I was lying on the floor in front of somebody's apartment. It was a white Canadian, French Canadian, and she and her husband opened the door and saw me and called the police. When the police came, it was 3 of them. I just couldn't tell them that I've been abused, because I was thinking about them, and especially my dad, because they could have gone to jail. All this, the Lord has used it to better me, to strengthen me. And the compassion and the love I feel from God, it's enormous. And when I see people, I don't see them in their situation, because I know things will be better. I always say, whatever you are today, no matter what people say about you, or no matter what people do to you, your situation will change tomorrow. And God will use the things, your experiences, whether bad or good, God will use them to help somebody also heal. Because there are a lot of people out there, a lot of kids I know, that are going through so much in their homes.
Wow. So at what age did you leave the house?
I would say maybe at 16,
16.
about 16 and a half, I believe, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
So after leaving the house, did you go back again later?
No, I never went back.
At age 16, you left. You didn't go back again.
Yes. The first family took me, and I believe I came back to the city. I think when I first started college, around maybe 18 and a half, if I'm not mistaken, around there, to I guess to live, to start my life or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say, starting life, you went to school and all that. You got somebody to take care of you and all that. You went to school. After school, how did you start life and all that? After college and all that. Working and all that. Did you go to university and all that?
Absolutely. Back then, I remember when I was first introduced to my husband. at the time I was in the process of doing audition, because I had wanted to continue in the field of acting and singing, and I could not. I remember the week of my audition. That's when my husband was fast forwarding everything, and just to get me to relocate to the U.S. So the whole marriage thing, happened, and I relocated here. And it's almost 20 years ago. And when I got here, you gotta wait for, even though I'm a Canadian citizen and all of that, you have to still wait for your US documents to be ready before you can even start working and so forth. So and then continue my education and so forth. So through that, I had my firstborn in 2006, and then in 2008 I have my secondborn. In 2013 I had my thirdborn, and then 2019 I had my lastborn. But then,
so when is the fifth born coming?
I think I'm done. My life is right now for the Lord.
Is your husband a Ghanaian?
Yes, he is. He's
Ghanaian. So then let me ask you, since your husband is a Ghanaian, I mean, looking at what you've been through from your stepmother, your father's side, and all that. I mean, when you guys met that we wanted to marry, you know where we are coming from. Family have to meet and all that. So how did it happen?
Oh my goodness. So my husband had contacted my brother in Canada, and he also in Quebec, in the city where I grew up, where I'm from. We have this person. He's like a gang chief or something like that, like the elderly person that everybody looks up to. So he had contacted him, and that person knew my dad, and to let him know this is the situation, and I'm getting married, and so whatever needs to be done and everything. So he said okay, so he will contact my dad. It didn't go well, and apparently I was hearing later on that my dad, turned against the man, because he said he was offended that he had even called him to ask him to stand in gap as a dad for me. And he was saying if I have reached, if I think my hormone, he said something that it didn't really make sense. If I think my hormone is high and I've reached the marriage life, or I want to get married, I should go and get married. And so it was very disturbing, and it was very painful, very, very painful. And
so meaning he didn't accept the marriage or what?
Oh no, he didn't want to do nothing. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. And that's fine. So my family side, my mother's side of the family, my uncle, bless his heart, he's been super, super good to me. He's been like a father to me, a father and an uncle at the same time. And he was the one that stood as my father. And because they know all the stories, they know everything that happened to me there. And he stood in as a father, and he did everything for me. I was here, but the engagement and everything was done in Ghana. And and it I couldn't be so thankful. I couldn't be so thankful to God, because it meant so much to me, and it wiped my tears away. It did. It did.
Let's talk about life in US. I mean, tell us more about what you do and all that. I know you said you are into music, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so tell us more about you, the music, life in America.
Well, life in America. Ah, well, back in 2018, I launched my first album, Asida. It's Asida Thanksgiving, and uh, it has not been really easy at all because the support system is not there. Like you will otherwise think that God has graciously given you something for, and you need some you need people to nurture and to help you, like support you. I'm not expecting I'm not talking about money wise or something, but like the support to push you, to help you, and to counsel you, to be there, and to know that you have somebody there that you can rely on. um Otherwise it's not here. It's been very difficult. um, and promoting your own music, trying to support your own self, and I gotta be honest, my husband has been super. He's my number one greatest fan, and my kids, and I've tried, I've done a whole lot of things, and it's difficult sometimes. I want to give up. I tell God I've given up. I'm not doing anything again. But then I find myself encouraging each time I meet people, and for some reason, people find a comfort in me. They love to tell me their stories, and even things they're going through and things they've been through. And sometimes, I met married couples that um, have told me that, listen, before I were to come here, I were to meet with you, I have told myself, I was telling my husband that I can't live anymore. People that wants to commit suicide, and the Lord will use me to bless them, to lift them up, to get them out of that that atmosphere, to get them to look at things differently, to see God in every situation, and to let them know that, listen, my story, if you hear my story, you will not think that I will be here today talking with you. So I
Okay.
know that eventually something God will use you to also bless somebody else. Yeah. Yeah.
So what made you become a musician? I mean,
Oh, yeah. Well, growing up,
is it because of what you went through?
no, actually, no. The thing is very basically, when before I was born, my mom was telling me the story. There was a prophecy about me, and when I was being christened, I was being named. Also, the Lord spoke over me, and said that I'll be a music minister to, and He will use me to do a lot of stuff. But I didn't know all of that. But for some reason, back in I've always loved music. But back in Montreal, back in Quebec, after I went through those trauma and stuff, for some reason, each time I music was something that consoled my heart, especially gospel. And every time I play, one of my favorite gospels are black gospel. Black gospel is like those old timers and all of that. And every time I play those things, like just to uplift my spirit and everything, I get goosebumps, and it kind of feel like I've been there before. It just was a bit, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you hear something and you're like deja vu, but you don't know where and you don't know how. It's like I've been there before. I know what they're talking about, and I'm feeling this thing, and then later on, my mom explained to me, told me about my birth and everything, and I just put the pieces together, and everything makes sense. But in to cut everything short, um, that is how I started working on the music side of it. I really had wanted to be an actor, though. Um, yeah, I wanted to be an actor and a singer, like Broadway and stuff like that. That was my main target. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're a gospel musician. What kind of gospel music do you do? Is it like reggae or cool, worship or praises or which one? Which one do you sing?
Well, right now, I say most of my songs are contemporary gospel. You get worship in it. You get uh, uplifting praise
Mm,
songs in it.
mm,
I remember back in 2018 when I had
mm,
launched my album. One of the songs that um, really stands out a lot for me was Asida. And that song was came about um, out of a lot of battles, spiritual battles and stuff. And that was basically about my brother. And I saw the Lord show me a vision, and it's a bit complicated when you're trying to explain it to, like, just a somebody, normal person
mm,
or so. But
mm,
in the spirit, you don't even have to speak. It's like your heart speaks with another person. Your heart speaks,
mm.
and sometimes the Lord can do that with you also. And so I saw that my brother wants to give up, and he had some incident in Canada, but I saw that he wants to give up, and he wants to end his life. And when I woke up from the night vision, I knew exactly what I had to do. I contacted my pastor at the time, and for 7 days I fasted and sowed a seed. So on Sunday, on my way going to church, I was driving, and I started hearing the song Asidanka Ewuradi. And it's funny because I had told God 2 years ago, 2 years prior, that I want him to teach me how to sing tree, and
Mm.
how to sing other African languages so I can connect with everybody. And I told him I don't know how to do it, and I don't want to offend anybody by my pronunciations and everything. So he should teach me how to do it. And gradually, I began to learn tree songs. I began to learn other languages songs and stuff. So when I got the song, it's funny that it was in tree. And so I was hearing it. So I got to church and I told my pastor, I'm like, this is what I keep hearing. Asidanka ewuradi ayeyi mofansha nenimonya Asidanka ewuradi ayeyi mofansha nenimonya Asida mufamano ayeyi mufamano Asida mufashane nimonya Asida mufama ewuradi ayeyi mufashane nimonya. And then he told me what to do, because
Wow.
that was my first spiritual song that the Lord has given me. And he
Oh,
showed me, he counseled me, he told me this is how you do it when you receive a song from the Lord and everything. And that's when I added that to my my album, and I
wow.
recorded
So
it. And
how many albums do you have now?
so right now I have one full album, which was from 2018 launch,
Okay.
and I have 2 videos right now. I have a third
Okay.
one coming, and then
Okay.
I have two other singles that I released over the course of the
Okay.
year. Yes.
Oh, okay. So how are we going to stream? Is it on the platforms,
Yes.
online platforms and all that? If somebody
Yes.
wants to go and listen to it and all that.
Yes. At Maryam Abila, Mary Joan the Abila Ministry. You can get me
Okay.
on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, ministry channel. Also, you can also get the songs on iTunes, Apple, and Amazon Music. I'm on,
Mm,
it's on TikTok Music and so forth. I'm on a lot of social, Instagram and
mm,
Spotify, so you can
mm,
get the
mm.
songs from
Are you
there.
getting airplay? Are you getting airplay back home?
Not I don't not at this time. I have I guess my husband's cousin is looking into it for me, Joy
But have
FM.
you been coming to Ghana? That's the most important.
I was just there for the first time. I know my older uncle passed away as well, so I get to see the family. It was a sad moment. And then I was able to do some few projects over there. So yeah, and I just literally returned. But it was very interesting, things. My first week over there, it didn't feel like I was there. It felt like I'm watching YouTube live. And my mind is still programmed here, because it had not hit me yet that I'm actually on the land until my second week. Then gradually I begin to settle in and everything. So it was a bit interesting.
So are you planning to have any show here in Ghana or come and perform or anything?
I am. I'm planning to, by the grace of God, I have a team that is willing to be, consistently working with me. It has not been easy, as I stated earlier, but the Lord is ordering my steps, and that's one thing that I want. I want to make sure everything I do is in line with God, because the ministry, he called me for it, and I'm doing it for him. And I don't want to make it as me, because my purpose in this ministry is to impact lives, to change lives, to lure the lost souls to God, and to get people to feel the love of God, the compassion and everything. Exactly. So I am looking forward to doing a lot more projects and to having shows and ministrations and maybe a couple of interviews and about where God is taking me with the ministry and so forth, and looking forward to it.
Nice, Madam Maryam. Thank you so much for coming on my show. You can mention your handles and all that, and you give shout outs, and let's sign out. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Okay. Well, I just want to say a big thank you to you, DJ Yummy, for the opportunity to come on your show. And I just want to, heart to heart talk, just a quick thing, talk to those that are listening and those that will be tuning in at a later time, that your situation today will change tomorrow, and God will use your situation to bless somebody else. Because I got to be honest with you, there are a lot of people that are going through similar thing that you're going through today. No matter what people tells you, or no matter what somebody tells you, whether your appearance, your look, or whether maybe you don't have enough money and you're suffering, you're doing 10 jobs or whatever jobs to take after yourself and your family, your situation would change. Just focus on the better tomorrow, focus on God, and just do what you still have to do to improve yourself, to better yourself. And one day you'll be sitting down and encouraging other people, because your story will inspire them to also be better, And I just want to say this quick. If you are there and you have not accepted the Lord as your personal Savior and Lord, this is my calling, this is my ministry, and I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because I know what God has done for me, and he can do the same thing for you. You just have to accept him and just tell him, Father, come into my heart, and I receive you, I accept you, and you're my personal Lord and Savior, and forgive me for my sins. Come into my heart, and Lord, use me for your glory. And I know that God will never reject you, because there's always joy in heaven with the angels when one soul coming to Christ. And I love you so much with the love of God. With just me, I can't love. But with the love of God in me, I can love. So I love you, and God loves you. And thank you, DJ Nyami. May God continue to bless your ministry, everything you're doing. I know you're really helping a lot of people out there. My husband listens to you all the time, and
okay, so nice.
Yeah, he just listens to you all the time. Your work and everything. So thank you so much for everything you've been doing out there. And
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Maryam, for coming through SBTV Africa. Great one. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. If you want to come on my show too, my numbers are on the screen. You can just WhatsApp or send me a voice note. Don't call, just WhatsApp me or send me a voice note. I'll thank my production team, DJ Craig, Sharon, and Tina. Like, share, tap on subscribe, drop your comments. Tour, peace out.
Oh, hello, people. My name is Kíllêd Boss. The only boss. Oh, wait, what else? Have you heard? Wait, do you know that Tap Tap Send is live in Texas? Oh, you didn't know? We went to New York. Now we are live in Texas. So people in Texas and around, all you have to do is to download Tap Tap Send. Yes, Tap Tap Send has become the most unique, secure, and fast way of sending money across the world to your loved ones anywhere. Okay, so download Tap Tap Send on Google Play Store or App Store. And when you're in Texas or around, you just have to put in the code TXGH. What did I say? TXGH, and you get $10 for your first transaction you make. But yeah, Mahama media, Texas, you drew her. Very soon we'll conquer everywhere.
Download Tap Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Tap Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.